From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, hon.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Happy Monday morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful weather out there. Hey, I want to ask you a favor. If you've been watching me over the last couple of weeks and been watching this channel grow, it's still, I'm still kind of ironing out a lot of the kinks here, but this is going to be a great source of information, as you're probably already beginning to discover that. And I want you to help me spread the word. If you live in the Valley, if you live anywhere in Northern California, let everyone know. Because I want more and more people to find out about this on the coast, in the eastern mountains, in Modoc County, Siskiyou County, for Trinity County, and of course the Valley as well. Let's get the word out there. I'm still even running into a lot of people who have known me over the many years and still don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, we got to get that word out there. Of course, you can do social media, youtube.com at Weather NorCal, which, by the way, I would recommend subscribing to the channel because the videos go there first. And you can click that bell to give you a notification when those videos are uploaded, so you can get the latest information as soon as it comes in. Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, eventually coming to Apple TV. That's the 24-hour channel that many of you have had some great reviews about. Also, the iOS app for Apple and Android, that is available as well, so be sure to tell everyone about that. So yeah, again, please help me spread the word. All right, let's get those the forecast here and take a look at those headlines. Now, we do have a warming trend this week. It's not going to be all that noticeable today, but we're going to be really going to notice here later this week. In fact, temperatures in the mountains are expected to peak somewhere between 100 and 105 degrees, and I think it could get hotter than that for some of the hottest locations, but on average between 100 and 105. And for the Valley, between 107 and 114. That's on the high end, by the way. The chances of hitting 114, not as high as, say, 110. All right, so we look at our planner here for the Valley, no triple digits, another mild day, comparatively speaking, right? The normal high in the Valley is 100. So if we can drop it below 100, we're doing quite well. So 96 for Redding, 94 for Red Bluff and Chico, about 93 degrees. And of course, for the mountains, temperatures mainly in the 80s and some 90s in there, 90 for Paradise, for example. But Etna, about 88, and Alturas, a high of about 86 degrees today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the heat alert. Now, the National Weather Service has already given this excessive heat watch for Lassen, Eastern Plumas, and Eastern Modoc County. Now, if you recall with the last heat wave, there were no advisories, no alerts. So this is a bigger heat wave coming in. Highs between 100 and 105. That's what I was mentioning for the mountains. And I think mainly in the eastern mountains, yes, between 100 and 105. If you head off towards like Trinity County, for example, Weaverville, Hayfork, I'm thinking about 106 to 107, maybe 108 for your daytime highs. So again, it depends on where you are. We are going to be looking at more heat advisories and alerts for pretty much all of Northern California, with the exception of the coast, as we progress through the week. So just be on the lookout for that. Now, the reason why we had that heat alert and heat advisories and all that good stuff, right, is because of this right here. That's what's heading our way. But it's going to take a while before it gets here. As I was mentioning, 96 for Redding today. We're going to be hovering around that 100-degree mark for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a big increase by the time you get into Friday, and not to mention going to the weekend. Now, as of right now, the peak of the heat wave looks to be on Saturday. Okay, after that, temperatures will start to slowly drop. Now, I also want to show you the map of what's going on with the heat, right? So the heat is originating over the desert Southwest. They've got excessive heat warnings over there. Temperatures there in excess forecasts between 115 and 120. That's for the desert Southwest. So that heat is migrating in our direction this week. This is what it looks like on noon on Thursday. So again, it's going to take a while before it gets here. You saw that trend. So by Friday, Saturday, that's when that bubble of heat is right on top of us. That's when we're talking 110 degrees plus for the Valley, 95 to 105 on average for the mountains. And we've got this big ridge of high pressure that's going to be in place. But the good news is it's not going to last forever. This heat will start to retreat down to the south and east starting Sunday and especially going into early next week. So you can see that ridge of high pressure, not as big. It's shifting southward, and that heat will retreat back over the desert southwest, where it should be, right? We don't want it. They can keep it. All right, so there you have those winds. Now, the winds are a key factor to our forecast as well, because you think about what we saw over the weekend. Temperatures were in the 80s for places like Chico, low 90s for Redding, especially yesterday. That's because we saw a nice south wind bringing in that cooler air from the delta and from the ocean in general. But notice the winds today, a little bit out of the north, a little bit out of the south, not a very strong wind. So as a result, temperatures will be warmer for the valley. Now, we're not going to see a very big change for the mountains because they don't really feel the impacts of the delta breeze. But as we go to Tuesday, we'll actually see another little slight trickle of a delta breeze. So temperatures may actually drop by a degree or two for tomorrow. Not only for the valley, but I think even the mountains will see a slight drop for Tuesday, believe it or not. But then they'll start to kind of go back up. Now we take a look at the temperature outlook the next 6 to 10 days. There's that big area of heat over the western United States. But watch what happens as we look at the extended going out for the next 8 to 14 days. You see how it's moving back down to the south and east, and the desert southwest is where the bigger heat is going to be. So yeah, we're kind of seeing this trend, and that's where the last heat wave came from. It came from the desert southwest, moved up in our region, then it went back down to the south. But now it's coming back up our way this week. All right, so here's your forecast highs for today. Now keep in mind, this is just a footprint of what you can kind of just see the overall pattern and trend that we're going to see across Northern California. If you want to see your town, your name on your town, that is, your town's name, go to weathernorcal.com, go to your particular neighborhood, and most likely your smaller community will be on there, and you'll get to see your daytime high in there. You can also watch the 24-hour channel, as we've got those in there as well. But to kind of help preserve time, because we have to fly through so many areas, that I really want to just focus these updates on the overall big picture. And today's forecast, I mean, that's easy for you to find online and on the app as well. So be sure to check that out. So here's what the 7-day outlook is looking like, and we'll kind of give you that trend here. So for Siskiyou County, temperatures are going up a little bit on Tuesday, then back down on Wednesday before we start to see them go back up. 103 Saturday, 100 on Sunday. Now for Alturas, I think you could quite possibly touch 100 degrees over the weekend, not to mention Susanville. Susanville about 104 and 102 by Sunday. But again, you see how they kind of go up a little bit and then kind of go back down. That's again, just some slightly cooler air moving in. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for the valley. This is where we have the bigger heat, right? This is typically where we have the biggest heat during the summer. So you can see temperatures kind of going up a little bit, should be back up to about 100 degrees by tomorrow. And then by Wednesday, those temperatures dropping slightly. I mean, we're talking by a degree or two, and that's it. After that, temperatures will start to increase. The biggest increase will be from Thursday to Friday, with about, well, you're talking about an 8-degree increase, at least for Redding, and 110 to 113 on Saturday. But again, you see that slight dip on Sunday? That's the kind of the sign of the cooler, or should we say not as hot weather heading our way as we go into early next week.